Good morning. Today we will proceed to welfare definition. This definition was given by Alfred Marshall. And he wrote one book, Principle of Economics. Principle of Economics in 1890. And if you want to jot down, please jot down. He defined economics as a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It examines that part of individual and social action which is most closely connected with the attainment and the use of material requisite of well-being. It's also given in your book, you can say to it, quoted in inverted commas. Now, what do you mean by this definition? This means he only focused on human welfare. On human welfare. That definition which I have given you, that was on wealth. But he focused basically on human welfare. He said welfare is more important than wealth. Alright? And he kept welfare in the center, and in the periphery he kept wealth. Why? Because if your welfare will be taken care, if your humanity will be taken care, obviously you can easily earn money. Many followers were there like Pigou, Cannon, Penson. They all gave similar definitions. Now, what are the features of this definition? What are the features? Now, first feature, study of mankind. What do you mean study of mankind? That he shifted his emphasis from wealth, which was given by Adam Smith, to the economic welfare. We'll have to take care of a human being. That is known as study of mankind. Number two, second one, study of ordinary business of life. Now, you all know that few people are there, they are ordinary men and women they are. They earn whatever they earn, they spend it for maximum satisfaction. He studied ordinary business for them only. He want to explain that a few people are there that they earn very less amount, but from that small amount they want to get maximum satisfaction. Now the third one, study of material welfare. Alright? Now maybe in your mind a question will be there, what is material welfare? Which can be measured in terms of money. Which can be measured in terms of money. But remember, this person, Alfred Marshall, also neglected non-material welfare. He also left non-material welfare and he only explained the material welfare. This means which can be quantified or which can be taken in terms of money. Now come the criticism. Criticism. Now first one, non-material welfare was ignored. Just now I told you he took only the material welfare, but all the non-material he ignored. You only think of it, the service given by doctors, teachers, we can ignore, we cannot ignore. Because these are the things which will lead the upcoming future to become something in their life. Now second point, welfare, he said, welfare can't be quantified. Alright, he said we can't quantify, but even his follower Pigou, he tried also. He tried. But you know, money too can't be used for everything to measure welfare. We cannot use everything everywhere to evaluate or to calculate the welfare. As I told you just now, non-material. The teachers, they taught you. Now, how you will quantify it? Everywhere it is not possible. And this was the main weakness of his definition, Marshall's definition. The third one does not show the relationship between ends and scarce means. Now two words are there, ends and scarce means. First you should understand, ends means unlimited wants, and the second one, scarce, means less amount of resources. Now think of it. Does not show relationship between end and the scarce means. In his definition, you cannot see, because people like us, we have unlimited wants, one after the other. Today, you are having maybe bike, you want car. As you will get car, you want SUV. It goes on. But remember, the less amount of resources are there, you don't have money. I'm ordinary teacher. I cannot imagine, or I cannot have desire to have aeroplane. It is very tough. It is very tough. Now, the fourth one is that restricted scope of economics. Now, first of all, we cannot restrict economics. Alright? Why? Because to promote economic welfare, we can't stop production. Remember, we know in our society, to sell liquor is not good, cigarette is not good, but these things are giving us money. They are related to economic values. Economic values are there. We cannot restrict economics because we are restricting here that few things are there we should not promote, he said. But this also was criticized by few economists. After that, after this definition, we have now scarcity definition. Scarcity definition. It's given by, as I told you, Lionel Robbins. He also wrote one book. His book name was An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economic Science. And that also he gave in 1932. Clear? This definition was given in 1932. In his scarcity definition, he explained, or he gave definition, if you want to jot down, it's given in your book. A scarcity definition: economics is the science which studies human behavior as the relationship between end and the scarce means, which have alternate uses. This is very important. In his definition, he focused on ends and scarce means, that also having alternative uses. You see to it how? By his own features, you will understand better. Now, what are the features of this definition? The first one, unlimited ends. Alright? Now, we all know that if one end, one want of yours is satisfied, next will crop up. Just now I gave example. You have bike and now you want car. You will get car, new one will come up with SUV. Now this is known as unlimited ends, which was given in his definition. Second one, scarce means. Now scarce means we know that resources are very less to satisfy our want. Very less. But then also with that resources what we have will have to satisfy ourselves. This also given in his definition. Third one, alternate uses of means. This is very important. Now we can use all these means which are scarce to a number of uses. Number of uses we can use the means which are scarce, like coal. Coal we can use in factories, we can use in railway, we can generate electricity. Now many more things are there. You can understand alternative uses are there of one product. Now this is known alternative uses of means. Now next one, fourth point is efficient use of scarce resources. Now you know everyone in their own home they are bounded to bring so many things from the market, but you know that your pocket will allow or not. Suppose it is a winter season and your mother asked you to bring 4 things. First she said, beta bring bucket. Second she said, bring blanket also, bring tea leaf also and fan also. 4 things she said. The first one, the bucket. Second she said, blanket. Then she said, tea leaf. And last she said, fan. Now think of it. It is a winter season. Just now I told you winter season. Now when it is winter season, it is very good. You will have to give priority now. Why? Because then only you can efficiently use your scarce resources. Likewise, money is very less in your pocket. You apply your brain. The first one in winter you have to bring. The first one is blanket. So blanket will be number 1, the priority. Second will be the tea leaf, because in winter we love to drink tea. Third one we'll have to take the bucket, and the fourth one is the fan. Now this means you'll have to fulfill first blanket, then tea leaf, then bucket, then fan. Why? Because fan we need in summer. Now the fifth point is science of choice, which is also known as science of scarcity. Alright. Now here the most urgent one, like first example of number 4 what I said, which one is urgent? Urgent is blanket. Why? It is winter. Now this is known as science of choice. Why? Because you have scarcity. Money you don't have that you can purchase blanket, bucket, tea leaf, fan all at a time. You don't have. Now next is the merit of this definition. Now merits, it is also known as superiority of Robbins' definition. Clear? Now the first point is it is more scientific. It is more scientific. How? Because nothing to do with the goodness or badness. Only concerned with the scarcity of means and unlimited want. As he said. But remember, first of all he said there is no means you'll have to select. Why? Science of choice. Now when science of choice, now in his own definition he is contradicting. In one end he is telling us that you should be neutral between the ends. And second hand he is telling that there is a science of choice. Then if we will not select, how we will come to know it is good or it is not good? So it is more scientific. Number 2, analytical definition it is. Analytical definition. Now what is analytical definition? Because it focuses on the root cause of economic problem. You know everything is related with money. You will have to see the root cause of that particular thing. Then only we can decide whether which one we can take or which one we cannot take. Next one, third one is a universal definition. How it is universal now? Because it concerned with the unlimited wants and limited means. Because everyone is facing this problem. Entire world, universe is facing problem. Why? Because we have unlimited want. Everyone, not in our country, every country, they have unlimited want, the people have, and limited means. This means resources are very less. Number 4 is a wider scope. Alright? Why he said wider scope? Because he said economics as a human science. He was the person who said it is a human science, not merely a social science. But actually it is a social science also, but he only said it is a human science only. Human science means because there will be a problem of choice. When human will be there, obviously when they go to the market, this is good, this is not good, this quality is good, this quality is not good. So we segregate. This is known as the human science, and he explained in this definition. And now you know everyone will be not satisfied by his definition, and because of that the criticism came. Now what was the criticism? The first one, criticism, he neglected economic growth, and development. Now this is very important because in 1970 the theory was passed of economic growth and development, which became a branch of economics, but this was neglected in his definition. Second point, as I told you when merit I was discussing, that it is a contradictory. It is a contradictory. Why contradictory? Because he himself gave two views. The first view, he said be neutral between ends. Alright. And second, he said there is a science of choice. Now, when we will be neutral, alright, whatever we got received in the market, we'll bring it. Then why you are telling science of choice? How to select them? Because we'll have to check the goodness, the badness, the good one, the bad one, we'll have to select in the market. Alright, the third point, neutrality towards ends. Now what do you mean neutrality towards ends? Just now I said end means unlimited one. Be neutral. The economics obviously says be neutral, because if you are not neutral with the ends, with your want, you will have to neutralize it. Otherwise, if you will not study this one, there will be no use of economics then. Number 4th one, it is too wide. Just now I said. Alright, the people also said it is too wide, because he explained economics is the study of human activities. Obviously, when human will be there, problem of choice will be there, which will be faced by both the social and the non-social being, who are known as non-social being. You can understand who are non-social beings are saints, smugglers. Now we cannot leave them. When we will have to study about them also, obviously the definition becomes too wide. This also criticized. Now after that, problem of abundance. Now this maybe you are knowing that in 1929 to 33 in USA, there was a huge depression. Huge depression was there, and depression means the commodity was excess in the market, but purchases was not there. Now this also create problem when you have abundance of things. Now the last one, number 6, not applicable to rich countries. Now this is very important. All the developing nation, they will face problem. But this problem of scarcity is not applicable to the rich countries. Alright? Now, because problem of scarcity is not there, as in the other developing nation we have. Obviously, scarcity will be there. Yes, in other country, they are getting huge salary, huge payment, all the commodities are available, all the resources are available, and because of that we can say it is not applicable in the rich country but available in our own country. Now next we will start growth definition.